Property Deconstructed. We're back, Mark. It's part 2 of a special discussion that we're having. Michael Siu is on the video line there, and we're in the studio.
Yeah, Property Deconstructed. Thanks again, Pat. And Michael was mentioning from Mortgage Choice some great tips on property investment and loan structuring, as well as your own principal loan and how to pay that off faster, but as well some tips he was going to leave us with and unpack a little bit more. So, Michael, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah. And you set up just want to mention the last episode, Mark spoke about how experienced you are, Michael, and you are a property developer from a legal point of view and a finance point of view. We're talking to somebody who really understands this world. So you've done well. We've tapped into a mind here that really these ideas have been hidden for a bit, so we're onto him. We've got a winner.
Experienced property investor, over 20 years in personal property investment himself, but he's got a chartered accounting background, legal background, working in national firms, as well as specialising in retirement and
I wish I had met him
superannuation
20 years ago.
Yes, well, that's what I said. Even with Michael's visuals, when he showed them to me and explained it step by step, if that was explained in that way when you were younger, when you're starting out, I think that financial literacy should be taught more at schools. And
you would have mentioned the procrastination thing, but as I say that at 50, this is a question without notice because I'm 51, I still have time to build my wealth through property, do I, Michael? You can be honest with me.
Absolutely, okay. Because when you think about the property cycles, and Mark would be across this with the property cycles and the retirement ages that people, sort of depends when you want to retire. If it's next year, maybe not, but generally people are looking to retire between 65 to 67, so that's at least 1 or 2 property cycles. So definitely opportunity.
And you don't have to. If you love what you're doing, you're not working.
Oh, that's
really,
right.
Yeah,
I do.
Right.
How's this for a job?
Yeah,
I'll just keep charging Mark for the bloody thing.
Exactly.
You'll keep paying me.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, but you made a point last episode. The procrastination is something that people often do. You see it in your world, so that need to act and just move.
Yeah, and that self-talk and procrastination over analysing, it happens in all fields, not just property, but it does limit ability for success because time in the market is where you get growth and other challenges. But Michael, I'll let you continue to unpack where we were leaving off with that point as well.
Yeah, awesome. Look, and so often a question will come up from clients as well. That's great. Okay, so I've got this mortgage on my home. I'm looking to buy an investment property. I'll have a mortgage on that investment property. But then how can I possibly afford to do this? Well, let me show you something. All right, so let's go back to that example we ran with last time, which was a $700,000 property, 100% financed. You've got interest-only repayments, right? Let's assume it's $650 a week per rent, and the effective tax rate for the borrower is 35%, okay? So what that means is, in terms of who's funding the costs to hold the property, and when I say funding the costs, so this could be like the interest, okay, the council rates, could be strata fees, ongoing maintenance, the times when you might get a leaking tap. You've got to head down to Bunnings to buy some gear to fix up some things around the house, right? All those costs are tax deductible.
Yes, you have to forecast your outgoings.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. All right, so looking at this pie chart, this shows the breakdown of who's sharing those costs. So you've got the tenant, obviously through the rent, paying 65%, contributing 65% to the costs. You've got the tax office around 15%. So when I say the tax office, the beauty of this is with investment property, you get tax deductions for the costs associated with running the property, the investment property. And so that can be offset against your personal income. So it's reducing your tax bill, right? So you're paying lower tax. And this is that concept of negative gearing. So what you're finding is that about 80% of the costs are being supported by or funded by the tax office and the tenant, and you're only contributing 20%. Now that's got to be a great deal. Can you imagine if you get down at the Woolies, right, and you're at the checkout, it's a $100 grocery bill, and actually $80 of that grocery bill is being paid by somebody else, and you're only having to contribute 20.
Yeah, and especially now you've got rising rental yields, but also taxes in Victoria, especially not just and taxes on property across the country are fairly high. But any way to improve that and maximise it is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And the contributions will go up as well from the tenant and the tax office if once rents are going up. If you start moving into high marginal tax brackets as well, the benefits or the tax savings increase. And so your contribution reduces over time as well in that sort of environment. It's absolutely a no-brainer. And there's very few asset classes like that where you can benefit in this way. And that's what I love about property.
Can look, I recommend people, obviously they'll watch this, re-watch it, make some notes about what you're talking about, because it's all there, not easily sort of set out. But, I'm thinking, okay, you want to plan this and do this yourself. So can the average person do this on their own, or you need to bring in an expert like you guys? It's always nice to have an expert around. Is it as simple as I can work this out at home and sit down and listen to this podcast or video and make some notes, or it's nice to bring in an expert to guide you through this process there, Michael and Mark?
Yeah, Michael, I'll let you answer first with from the finance side and getting professional advice.
Yeah, from my experience, I think, and it's like I said in the title, "Alone No More," it really was a pun, but it's also to emphasize the point that really when you're investing in things like this with property, you should see it as a business, right? And so when you go into business, you surround yourself with professionals. So you've got Mark here with the buyer's agency, his work that he can support you on in terms of making sure that you do buy a high quality property. And I've seen clients who haven't bought a high quality property and they've done it themselves, but they've seen no growth. They bought into assets that haven't grown for more than 10 years, 10, 15 years.
They go backwards. Yeah.
They've gone backwards, and that can set you back for many, many years on your investment journey, right? And with the loan structuring, I would recommend that you do speak to a mortgage broker and to me, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you? Given that there's, more than 40 lenders across Australia, each have their own sort of nuances with the lending policies, right? And the lending criteria and how much they can lend to you and the rates. It'd be so hard to get your head around. And then on the accounting side of things, you can see there the tax is quite a large chunk of it. Mm-hmm. I would definitely be recommending getting tax advice as well.
Right, okay. But that's a good point. It's like a business, and you surround yourself with professionals when you run a business.
Well, yes, and we're a podcast here or video cast as well, collecting wisdom and information from different professionals, but it's not direct financial or property advice. It's general in nature here. You do need to seek your own advice to suit you personally, from the tax and accounting side as well. But always, I'd always highly recommend seeing a mortgage broker before you start, especially from our property purchase and acquisition side. If we know where the goalposts are, where the maximum ideal or capable budget is, then we know how to negotiate where we're going to search the type, because that will drive the locations, the property types, the best type of assets we can source.
Well, that's the fun bit. You can find a suburb and what you want to do, and then go to see Michael and say, "Can I buy this?" Yeah. He says yes, and then go see you, and then do the other bit, and you're away.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. And Michael, I know you've got some great examples here, and different buyers, and depending on their stage in life as well. What does the structuring, we can probably unpack on another episode later on as well, when someone isn't able or capable of getting 100% LVR on the loan, where they might need a deposit and other avenues there to break it down.
He's reading my mind. I thought that. Okay, so the 100%, because I keep hearing you need a deposit and all that sort of stuff. Okay, 100% from the bank. Is what we're talking about?
Well, that's what Michael's examples are, yes. But there's, I guess the projections and the way that the loan, paying out the loan works, say on average, most people are borrowing 90%, they need a 10% deposit. Yeah. And there's different advantages there that you would play out.
Yeah, that's right. And so it depends on the circumstances of the borrower as well, and the stage of life that they're at in terms of their life journey. So, for example, if you're a first home buyer, you may not have a deposit necessarily. So it's a little bit different from the strategy that we're looking at here. But like you said, that could be for a different sort of segment, but where there's various government schemes that they could access.
Yes, of course.
So that way then they can avoid having to pay the lender's mortgage insurance without actually having to pay a deposit or paying a very minimal deposit to purchase their first home.
Which you can save faster before the market gets growth, and maybe save that in 5 or 10 years rather than 20 years of savings.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I'll let you continue where you're on that track to share some more information as well.
Yeah, no, so that's really how, going back to that diagram, this is what I mean about working smarter, not harder, because it's not really you that's working harder. It's actually the tax office and the tenant who's helping you purchase that investment property, which then you have the option to either sell to pay off your home loan that relates to the home that you're living in, or you have the option to actually just keep the investment property and watching both properties grow in value over time. Yeah, so the next stage would be the next question that comes up then is, well, actually, where do I get the money from to buy the investment property? And so that's the next part that I'd like to talk about.
Should we come back for number 3? Do you think are we going to stretch it out here?
We can certainly, if you've got some more time to stick with us, Michael, because we like to share good 10-minute to 15-minute bite-size chunks, and I know the viewers will get a lot out of continuing to view these presentations as well.
We don't want to rush you there, Michael. Okay, so we're coming back and we're going to talk about, what was it? Where we're going to get the money from?
Yes, and how to leverage.
Yes. Oh, well, that's important, isn't it?
That's the key. That's the key.
Oh, gee, every episode there's like a cliffhanger. Yeah. That is the key. Where do you get the money from? We're returning with Mark Errichiello, also Michael Siu, and I'm Pat Panetta. We're back very soon with the next episode, and we'll talk about how you can get the money.